Teammates meet in the round of 32. It's always tragic to see, but it usually means we get some good mind games. When you have practice partners, they always kind of know each other a little bit too well. What can I do differently, or what can I hold back that my opponent will not suspect? Scarlett going gas first. She's up to something, and I think so is her Terran opponent Byun. Pool before hatch. Is this just cheese defense, or is she rushing? Because I think she's getting rushed. Byun gets his 150, and he puts down that Rax. Oh, and yes, there is a second SCV coming. It's gonna be a double Rax. Yep, he's saved up another 150. I think we gotta do rushed intros, people. Double time. Our Zerg player in red in the bottom right is doing an extractor trick. That goopy mess is gonna give her an extra drone. But she doesn't care about the red splatter because she's Scarlett! There goes that plan. Our Terran player in blue in the bottom left is the one-man army. He is Byun! Scarlett's pool's finished already. She immediately makes 2 lings, gets a queen, and starts up ling speed. I think Byun's gonna find the Zerg player in far better shape than he expected. His first Rax finishes and he starts Marine number 1. Second Rax finishes up. He starts Marine number 2. Scarlett's making 6 Zerglings behind her original 2. Yes, it's a collision of 2 rushes. Let's see how they stack up. Byun's gotta be like, wait, there's not supposed to be lings already. Scarlett's like, you fiend. The cards are thrown down. Scarlett pulls back to her ramp to defend. She's got reinforcing lings. Now Byun has to retreat to his reinforcements, but he's got 2 more Marines on the way. Scarlett kills an SCV. That's the first blood. She gets another one. If there was gonna be a bunker rush, there isn't now. Here comes Byun, but there's no natural for him to shut down. There's already a queen at the main to defend. In fact, Scarlett has thrown down a very fast Baneling nest. That's what her plan was with the early gas. She's going for a Baneling bust. Forget his rush. Byun needs to figure out how to survive here. Oh, he senses it without even seeing it. He starts pulling back. Such a savvy game sense for our Terran player. Scarlett has correctly guessed that Byun has no production at his actual main base. She's gonna hit him there. Byun is hastily trying to assemble a wall to protect his main. Rax's lift off to head home, but that means no new Marines. His old ones are gonna need to be extra studly. Ling speed just finished. Byun's actually building a factory for his wall, and he's got a bunker on the way. Oh, Scarlett with the surround! She catches the Marines on the ramp. They are dead. Byun just lost all his combat units. He's not the one-man army, he's the none-man army. A wall and SCVs is all he's got left. He's making a Hellion. Oh, he's making a double layer. So smart. You see Protoss do this all the time, but you don't see Terran do this very much. But the Banelings are already done. They're slow, but there's 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. Byun gets supply blocked, and Scarlett is inside. There's a Hellion now, though, and Scarlett does not have much left. SCV's coming to fight, but Scarlett's got 2 Banelings. Byun's got to be careful. Where's that detonation? Boom! 5 SCV kills. 4 more, 5 more. Tons more. Byun's economy is devastated. The Lings are cleaning it up. Scarlett's making nothing but Lings and Bane. She's gonna try to end this, and she has! It's GG. Byun taps out in under 4 minutes. Well, there you have it. We know that early pool is quite good against double Rax rush, but Scarlett shows us you can take it up a notch with a Baneling nest. I think it's safe to say that neither of these teammates are going easy on each other. That was raw, visceral aggression, and I can't wait to see how they adapt for game 2. Maybe we could even do a better intro. Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
Well, if you blinked or got yourself a snack, you probably missed game 1. So the recap is Scarlett's up a game. Her Baneling rush trumped Byun's double Rax. Byun's actually sent out another early CV just like he did in game 1. We're gonna have to watch that. Scarlett's making drones. Maybe our players will actually let me do a proper intro this time. No, she's gone for that quick gas again. It is possible, I don't know, but it's possible that both players are trying to do the exact same thing again. Pool goes down. Byun's like, she'd never go for an early pool 2 games in a row. Scarlett's like, he wouldn't proxy Rax me again, would he? Yes, he would. flash intros coming up once again. Let me just tell you that a weenie is not a hot dog unless it has a Byun!
Current world rank 12.
It's indeed a double rack. Scarlett has done her extractor trick again. She's a tricky one. She's as tricky as a counterintelligence officer from G.I. Joe because she's Scarlett! Oh, I see the Zug is wrong train is leaving the station early today. It's not a double racks, it's a triple. Oh, and Pool has popped already. Look how quick that Ling speed starts up and a queen. But does a triple racks give Byun enough to overwhelm this? He's even further back this time. I don't think that helps him. Which reminds me, we are playing this on the map Hardwire. No soft squishy wires for us, no sir. Deja vu, first two Lings are out. Two more behind it. Byun still has the edge until speed finishes, and that's a ways away. Overlord's gonna see this. Both players are gonna figure out that this is a redux pretty soon. Byun is not gonna be happy. His series life is gonna be on the line here. He's gonna change his fate. He's gonna have to change up his strategy. Oh, he's heading home immediately. With all that gas, Scarlett gets herself a Baneling nest. That was the devastating SCV killer in game 1. First Barracks lifts off to head home. The other two are gonna finish a Marina piece first, I think. This time the wall's filled in with a bunker. Last game, Byun had himself a factory. This time around, he's got nothing. What's he gonna do, put an SCV in there? Scarlett pulls back. I think she wants to cut off any Marines trying to get home. Speed's gonna finish. Byun can't allow himself to get pounced on like he did in game 1. That cost him the game. Here we go, Speed done in 1 second. He's got a clear path to the bunker. He's gonna get home. That's gonna change things greatly. That's gonna keep him alive. A man bunker with an SCV to repair it is a deadly weapon. Scarlett finds the proxy, and Byun pulls up stakes. I don't know what happens now, I really don't, but Scarlett puts down a hatch. Byun's understandably worried about a Baneling bust. He's making extra bunkers. Scarlett's actually gonna let him see the Banelings being made, but this is really only half-hearted. She's actually droning up at the same time. I like this. She's pretending she's all in. She is not. Byun has no choice but to take it seriously. He has to invest in a double layer of wall. 2 bunkers, 2 eBays, and what'll be his 4th racks. I like this for Scarlett, but I think it depends on how long she can get Byun to buy into it. Zerg is kind of switched to what I describe as a soft contain. Scarlett's about to steal the worker lead. Oh, Byun with the salvage. He's catching on. There's no bust, you big fakey fake. There's not a statue at all. Look at that, he immediately starts making a command center. He's like, oh man, how far am I behind? Actually, not that far. It's a pretty close game. But you gotta like Scarlett's position. Her natural's about to finish. Normally you'd say, so what? That happens all the time. Except that here, Scarlett's also got a Baneling nest up with an army to go with it. Yes, she's behind on income, but that's about to change. I love how their bases are all flying the same flag, the Shopify Rebellion logo. Makes me want to go, how come you guys are attacking each other? Can't you see you're on the same team? I think Scarlett's just given up trying to sell her fake attack. She's going home. I think at this point she's got to be fearful that Byun's making a medevac and he's going to drop her. Of course, we can see that he's doing nothing of the sort. But Scarlett does not know that. Oh wow, this much action and barely any kills. 4 Zerglings, that's the sum total of what Scarlett's lost so far. Okay, Byun is starting up a starport. He's got a Hellion now. That's gonna give him the ability to try to exert some map control. Though we might need more than one, those Zerglings do have speed. Yeah, he's making more. I know we've seen Scarlett surround and kill Hellions with just Zerglings plenty of times, but it's super hard to do and she'll probably need more Zerglings if that's what she's got in mind. And she isn't. She is all about the drones right now. And look at this. She's actually gonna go put down a 3rd. I love that. She should know exactly when Byun pushes out of his base, and she knows it's not right now. Oh, it's a Viking. The Zug train of wrongness makes it to the next station. I thought a medevac for sure. Stim starts up. It's late, but not as late as I thought it would be. Triple Hellion. That's too much firepower for those Zerglings. Byun finally gets control over his natural and lifts off his command center. Oh my god, is this game actually gonna stabilize? Could be, but if it does, it's not going to be on even terms. Scarlett's going to walk away with the big worker lead from all of this. I think that puts pressure on Byun to get something done. He's got to inflict some damage. Or he could just drop the mule hammer and try to compete that way. No, I don't think it's enough. I think he's got to retard the Zerg's economic progress or he winds up in the soup. A big soupy mess of his own eviscerated entrails. So the Vikings going overlord hunting, I get that now. But the problem is Scarlett is one of the most conservative Zerg players with her overlords. She pulls them early and hides them well. It costs her some vision, but it helps kickstart her economy. She's made a calculated decision as to which side she falls on that end of the trade-off. Reactor going up at the starport, +1 weapons at the eBay. Byun salvages his central and final bunker. That's the international sign of confidence. He's pushing the Maginot Line to outside his natural, building himself a wall of supply depots. Scarlett does not actually even have an Evo chamber at this point. She is, though, starting up her lair. So it looks like Byun's gonna get stim and an upgrade lead. Scarlett trying to get that challenging surround on the Hellion. She gets one. She celebrates by making 10 drones, because she can. Byun, on the other hand, maxes out his worker production and makes 2 SCVs. Oh, Byun's Vikings found an overlord. Scarlett immediately starts making 2 more. She's also got double Evos on the way. That's one way to catch up on an upgrade deficit. Byun starts his first tank. Byun's marine tank is of course legendary. I bet he knows all sorts of little nooks and crannies to tuck those tanks. He's one of those Korean players who plays like the map is his own personal backyard that he grew up in his entire life. And now he's pushing out. I like this. I think he has to. He needs to do some damage, and this is a good way to do it. Byun tries a 4th base location, is relieved to find it empty. He gets to work on paring back some creep. The lair is done. Scarlett starts up Baneling speed. No surprise there. That's accompanied by +1 melee, +1 armor. Oh, Byun gets his claws into the 3rd. That's a good start. He kills the queen. She does, though, have 8 more. Byun forces out a ton of transfuses. It's a good little raid for him, but it won't be enough on its own. Baneling speed is halfway done. Oh, counterattack, counterattack. I like this. Scarlett decides to find out how much Byun has left to defend. I think the answer is a tank. She sees Marines behind a depot wall and immediately pulls back. Byun's also got a 3rd orbital ready. He'd love to get that out to expand. Byun's still trying to get that requisite damage done. I think he's on the clock though. Once Baneling speed finishes, this won't be nearly as easy to do. Who am I kidding? It's Byun. This guy has the rare superhuman power to dodge Banelings. Scarlett hits the pause button on droning. She makes 18 Zerglings. Want to bet a whole slew of them are going to wind up being Banelings. She might be thinking about busting that depot wall. Oh, I see green emerald schematic. Byun's going to fly out his 3rd. It seemed like a second ago he was down so much more. He's only really down 10 workers and 10 army. Scarlett, though, is ready for attack of her own. She's waiting for her upgrades to finish, I think. +1/+1 is done, and that is a lot of Banelings. 20 more lings being made behind this. No droning at all. Zerg is in kill mode here. Byun with the retreat stim. Such a pro move. Most players just use stim to attack, but a real ace can also use it to escape. Plus 50% movement speed, it makes the Marine pretty fast. For reference, a stim Marine actually has the exact same speed as a charge line. Oh, Scarlett's trying to maneuver for a big surround here. Byun smells it, he's pre-splitting. Scarlett's looking to collapse on a lot of sides here. Here she goes, she's pulled the trigger. Byun pulls back, lings are gonna feast on the tanks. Byun's gonna run out of room to retreat to. And his tank count is really gonna get reset. He does have a tank on the high ground though. Lings diverting to the 3rd. Volatile burst on the depot wall. Scarlett's inside. That high ground tank is like the busiest unit in the game. It's 22 dead SCVs. Scarlett's army vanishes as her Banelings explode, but that was the plan. A very successful trade for the Zerg player. Byun down to 38 workers. Scarlett starts up 2-2. Byun's actually made a Liberator, and he's trying to rebuild his tank count. Scarlett takes the 5th. She refuses to answer on the grounds that it may incriminate her. Sorry, that one never gets old for me. Oh, it's a Baneling conspiracy. A huge amount of them are being made in secret. Byun trying to organize a counter drop. Pilot hits the boost button. Most of Scarlett's army's in the middle of the map. and it's chilling in cocoons. Paratroopers landing in the main. There's only 2 queens here. Scarlett with the drone pulled. Mining time matters less when you've got 4 other functioning bases. Scarlett pulls everything home to defend. That's a bit of a victory for Byun in itself. Then he picks up to escape while his Liberator looks to harass on the right-hand side of the map. It's gonna be the Mauve Circle of Doom, the Orb of Ordnance, the Ring of Rage, the Wheel of War. Okay, I'll stop now. Not because they're bad, but because I ran out. Scarlett makes a spore to deal with that Liberator. Liberators have that weakness where they cannot attack structures. It'd be nice if the Liberator could blow up the spore while it's mutating, but instead it just kinda has to sit there and watch it. Though in this case, Byun's gonna relocate his Liberator. He's gonna make a whole new ellipse of evil, a perimeter of pain. Okay, that last one didn't even make any sense, but I like the way it sounded. Oh, tank's getting off lots of shots. That high ground tank has gotta have a lot of kills. We gotta take a look. 26. That is a serious hero unit. Oh, Scarlett's making him splash his own SCVs. That was really cool. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but if it was just evil. I can't believe Byun only lost 3 SCVs from that. At this point, Byun has the larger army and he's only down 3 workers. I mean, he's still a lot weaker economically, but if you think about where he was at the start of this game, Byun is really clawing his way back into this. Just one skirmish at a time, getting these small edges, and they're slowly adding up for him. He's gonna wipe out these Lings, and then his army's actually gonna be double the size of Scarlett's. I mean, in fairness, Scarlett's army does self-destruct by design, so we wouldn't expect it to always be that big. But the stats are really telling a story of a comeback. And if I'm Scarlett, you gotta be worried about the momentum. I mean, that's obviously more psychological than real. But like most sports, psychology's half the battle. Half the battle. Hey, I totally made a G.I. Joe reference at the start of this game. Oh, Scarlett starts up her lair. Whatever Byun's doing, she intends to put a stop to it. And what he is doing is making more command centers, adding additional factories, and getting a ton of Marines. And yes, more Liberators, because Byun knows that my Thesaurus Fu has been completely expended. Byun looking to drop on the east side of the map this time. And the west. I think he's just clearing out creep to try to get attention. Byun's Marine force is like a difficult child. He's not really attacking you. He's just trying to get your attention. And of course, what I really mean by that is trying to lure away the defenders so he can attack on the right-hand side. Oh no, it's another one. It's a disc of destruction. Hey, that one's actually not bad. Here comes that untargetable spore. It takes a full 4 seconds to root a spore, 3 seconds to unsiege a Liberator. And that math means Byun gets out of there. He's gonna throw down a tire of terror. Hey, tires around, it could be a tire. I'm not sure how much damage the Liberator's doing, but boy is it a distracting force. Actually, it's doing a fair amount of damage. 6 kills, Byun will take that. Byun liked it so much, he's gonna make 2 more Liberators. Oh, can Scarlett not see him? She doesn't see him. Byun tucks his units away. Those are Marine ninjas. They think they're like playing hide and seek in a Mr. Beast video and they can win millions of dollars. Okay, here we go. Hive finishes and we can see Scarlett's plan. She immediately goes for the Crackling upgrade and the Ultralisk Cavern. Can you have a cavern that's above ground? Or is a cavern something that has to be subterranean by definition? I don't care, I just hope we get to see Ultras, that'll make me happy. Oh my god, it's a blue circle, just a circle. Meanwhile, Scarlett's up to 80 drones. So I'm not sure the Liberators are having the effect that Byun wants, but they've gotta be distracting. Byun starts his +3 armor, and he's gonna get a fortress for his 4th base. I mean, Byun is known for unearthly comebacks, so I shouldn't be too amazed by this. But he was so far behind in this game. And Starcraft is a game where, based on its inherent nature, once your opponent gets a lead, it tends to snowball. Game designers call that a positive feedback loop. A lot of game designers now try to design their games with negative feedback loops. They try to make the game harder the further you actually get ahead. The idea is that it's going to make the game closer and therefore more fun. But while that might work in, say, a family card game, in a battle simulator, a lot of those negative feedback loop mechanisms seem really artificial. Widowmine's on the field. Oh! The Widowmines and the Banelings just take each other out. Both armies get a sizable reset. Scarlett's looking to trade out her units though. She wants cap space to build her ultras. Zerg is very near max and showing signs of building a bank. That is healthy, it's just that Byun is not that far behind. That Liberator's looking for the chance to measure the circumference. But Scarlett does not want another home reno. Liberator transforms into defender mode with helpful arrows that say kill things here. Oh, the chitinous plating upgrade is wrapping up. Byun's anticipating it, he's switching to marauders. Or at least adding them in, he's making them 4 at a time. And he's getting himself the concussive shells upgrade. Because the ultras are on the field, Scarlett starts up ultraless speed. I feel like both players would be maxed out by now if they could just stop attacking each other for 0.2 seconds. Scarlett's about to get her +3/+3. That's not just for the ultras, it's for the cracklings as well. We'll see how those marauders fare against those ultras. Enough of them put together can really punch in ultra, and they're pretty good against banelings as well. Oh, I wonder if Scarlett agrees with me. She's actually put down double spire. She's thinking ahead to a transition again. That's one of the great late game weapons of the Zerg. With just a single tech structure, the Zerg can change the composition of its entire army. If Terran wants to pull that off, they usually have to build a half-dozen production facilities. Byun's pretty close to getting his +3/+3. Ultraless speed is done. Byun's actually stopped making Marines for what seems like the first time in this game. He's going Widowmine Marauder. Scarlett's cracked into the triangular third here. Oh, Byun's moved that hero high ground tank. That would have been so useful here. Scarlett getting some economic damage, but her army is getting wiped out. One Marauder taking on 2 ultras. Byun was kiting like a madman there. Then the reinforcements arrive and one-shot that ultra. No, it was your dead colleague who did all the work there. Looks like Byun moved my favorite tank over to the lateral third. It's the one in the back, 32 kills. Probably would have had 40 if it had stayed where it was. But of course, Byun has to protect his lateral third too. Oh, another sign of strength from Byun. He's making the map smaller. And he's taking his 5th. You better believe that's gonna be a fortress. Byun's gonna get drilling claws for his widow mines. Byun's army's starting to get a lot bigger than the Zergs. Actually, that chart just kind of shows they've done a ton of trading. Oh, Byun would love to knock this base down. Spores everywhere, making it hard for the medevacs to get too close. Scarlet's spires are done, but there's no sign of an air transition. Her bank's been spent on ultras and lings trying to survive the relentless attacks. Oh, big baneling hits there. The Terran incursion force gets crushed. Those medevacs are a lot emptier than when they came. But as always, Byun is relentlessly attacking on all sides. Scarlett starts up a greater spire, and she's getting +1 air attack. Scarlett is trying to hang on for a Broodlord transition. Once in a dominant position, the game is slipping away for the Zerg player. Byun is getting that fortress for his 5th. Scarlett is getting corruptors. She can use them to go after those medevacs while she waits for that Broodlord tech. Other than that Viking that Byun made at the beginning of the game, he has very little anti-air. Oh, but he's gonna get a snipe at that base on the bottom right. A nice hit and run there. Oh, and then he just stays there hovering. You can see why Scarlett wants to get those corruptors. It's just classic side-to-side push-pull for Byun. And the Zerg is starting to show signs of wear tear as a result. Byun pushing in on yet another base. The DPS on his +3/+3 stimmed bio ball is so formidable. Corruptors are out. Scarlett looks to collapse on all sides. Byun with the stutter step. The Lings get murdered. The Corruptors are getting the medevacs. It looks like a bit of a one-way trip for Byun, but he doesn't care. He wipes out the Zerg ground forces, and it's GG. That was a 20-minute slow-motion comeback. Byun just clawed his way back into that game. Early on in this game, Scarlett broke through Byun's defenses and killed 23 workers. You're not supposed to come back from that, but if you're the one-man army, you can. One of the knocks against Starcraft as an esport is that dramatic comebacks are actually kind of rare. For me, that just kind of means the game has an element of realism, and it just makes the comebacks that much more special when they do happen. I don't want to oversell it. This wasn't the most dramatic comeback of all time or anything, especially since there was no singular one pivotal turning point. Byun just put in the work and just ground his way back into the game and then took it. This is a moment for me to give some good news about both our players. Scarlett has secured a round of 24 berth at Katowice. Just for those of you who are unfamiliar, Katowice is the granddaddy of Starcraft tournaments. That is the World Championship. Byun also has a seat at that table, but he is round of 36. He's got a scrap to get to the round of 24. Given his current power ranking, that doesn't sound like it's at all out of the question for him. I know I'm getting stoked for that tournament, but we've still got ourselves a zinger of a best of 3 here. Our players are teammates and they play together in the World Team League, but only one of them gets to advance in the winner's bracket today. Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
Alright, we're gonna settle this. And we're gonna do it on 2,000 atmospheres. Both players open the last 2 games with a little bit of cheese. Are they gonna finish out the series in the exact same way? I'm kinda torn. I'm liking the cheese, but I'd also like to see what these guys can do with the straight out balls to the walls game. I'm looking to see if Scarlett's gonna go for that extractor first. We don't see it so far. Just droning so far, it has all the signs of a classic hatch first. No scouter cheese warriors head out for Byun so far. He's gonna go all crazy and build his racks in his main. Yes, our players have settled down. That means I can take a moment to tell you that our Terran players discovered the secret to youth. Never be old, always Byun! I know, but it's better than most of the stuff I've come up with for poor Byun. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Byun is his actual first name. Our Zerg player in the top right has a longer wavelength than blue. That's because her light is Scarlett! That's right, we're giving physics lessons now. Though if you're getting your physics lessons from me, please do not design and launch any space shuttles. I do not want that on my conscience. Byun is gonna go for that Terran quadruple, but instead of a Reaper, he's gonna start with a Marine. He did get his orbital though, he is saving up for a command center, and he did send off that scout. That SCV scout is gonna see a bizarrely normal hatch timing, and that's gonna reaffirm that it was safe for him to put down that command center. And speaking of strange physics, here is the moment that creep falls up, yet somehow winds up on the seabed floor. I know I make jokes about this map's inconsistencies all the time, but I really do like that they tried to do something different here. 2,000 atmospheres is a really fun map tile set, even if it doesn't always make that much sense. Scarlett, ever so cautious with her Overlord, is going to get confirmation on that command center, and then she's going to go right ahead and get her third. That's not just 3 under 3 minutes, that's 3 well under 3 minutes. She has also grabbed 2 queens, 4 lings, the Serral standard. Right now, she's keeping those lings at home for a Reaper that's never going to come. I can relate, I've had dates like that, though I believe the technical term is being stood up. Nobody makes an entrance like a queen. Nothing says ready for action like sliding out of a mucus tube and blowing your nose all over a hatchery. Move over, Beyonce. The real queen is here. Even if by the end of the game, Scarlett winds up making like 12 of them. Oh, it's a 1-1-1 Destiny Cloudfist build for Byun. That seems unusual to me for Byun. I feel like he's an extra racks kind of guy. Though I'm sure he's intimately familiar with the build. Every Terran ran that build for about 5 years solid. Scarlett starts up Ling speed. Byun's making Hellions, but non-reactored Hellions. That's kind of neat. He's kept his reactor on his racks. I think that's legal. Probably not in France, but maybe in more permissive nations. It's gonna be a medevac coming out of that starport. It doesn't get an add-on. It's kind of like Byun's making all the same usual stuff. He's just doing it in a different way so it hits his opponent with a different timing. 3.5 minutes and Scarlett's third is already up. It feels like every year Zerg finds a way to get that third up faster than the previous one. At this rate, 10 years from now, Zerg's gonna be able to get their third base out before their second. And yes, I know that doesn't make any sense, but if you read Stephen King novels, it just might. 3 Hellions go out onto the field. That's gonna give map control to Byun. Ling speed is not yet done, and Scarlett doesn't have a lot of lings to begin with. And one less because it just got torched. That's a first blood. Kind of an anticlimactic one, but I'll take it. But there's also a loaded medevac. That's the real threat here. And the Marines are gonna pick off an Overlord. We know how hard Scarlett works to keep those overlords alive. She starts up a baneling nest. That's been a big part of her strategy in every game so far. Oh! Byun slips in, gets a drone, gets 2 more. That's not unheard of, but the Hellions all got away with 0 damage. A terrific opening for Byun so far. And he's transitioning his harass into cloaked Banshee. Having prioritized her overlord protection, Scarlett is not gonna see that. She is, though, making 2 blind spores. I mean, she could give her spores googly eyes, but that'd be silly. Banelings, already in production. Byun's adding 4 more Hellions to his original 3, and he's actually finishing up an armory. That's gotta be for Hellbats. I think it's time for more than meets the eye. Nothing but the best sound effects for you guys. There's that Hellbat transformation. Scarlett, though, has made Banelings. They're very good against Hellbats. They may not look it, but Hellbats have the light type. And that's what Banelings have bonus damage against. Byun has to pull back. It's slow Bane versus slow Bat. Terrific connections. The Hellbats are wiped out. And then the Queens get the interception on the Banshee. Cloak not yet done. And then the pendulum swings back the other way as Scarlett executes an A+ defense. Meanwhile, Byun's getting stim and he's adding Raxes. 2 more to be precise. He's given up on the fancy Hellbats and going back to the basics. He is, though, adding that second Banshee. Scarlett has gone ahead and put down a 4th base. That is an aggressive expand. It's the center right location. Zerg has a worker lead of 16 and it's starting to show on the income. Just like that, Zerg's rocky opening is a distant memory. In fact, Scarlett's going to celebrate by going for double evos and getting her lair tech. That means it's a good moment for Byun to attack, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's hoping to hit a timing right as stim finishes, and if he drags it out, maybe his +1 attack as well. Double Banshees cutting left. I like this. You don't normally expect the Banshees to be coming right up the middle. They're usually trying to sneak around the wings on the side. Byun going after that newly minted 4th. His numbers are a bit light, though. I think this is the distraction team. Yeah, I think he really wants to suck those Queens out of position. And in swoops the Banshees. There is a spore there, but Byun's just working around it, finding angles to hit drones where he can. The Queen was caught injecting larvae on the far side of the hatch. How Byun knows exactly how to time that is a mystery to me. But the end result is 7 drone kills, and that's gonna get him back in this game. Sure, Scarlett's still got a dozen more workers than Byun, but it was about to get out of control there. Byun's just brought that number back down to earth. Unfortunately for Byun, for the moment at least, those Banshees have been zoned out. They're kind of trapped in the corner. While Byun was doing this, he built a 3rd command center in his main. He hasn't lifted it off yet. Scarlett with a huge round of 11 drones. That's gonna kick her well over 80. She's about to get her +1/+1, and she's starting up Baneling speed. Byun is back to try for another attack. He's looking to try to bait some Queens, and that's because he's got tanks. There's a tank hiding in the weeds, splashing damage on those Queens. Scarlett wisely pulls back, but that's gonna let Byun advance. He's gonna get a position for his tanks. Oh, Scarlett with the backdoor attack with Ling. She's gonna clean up some of those tanks. There's one right behind the rocks, though. She needs to get that one. It's in range of the hatch. Oh, Byun's gonna protect it with his Hellbats. I think he's gonna save it. He does. That was pivotal. That tank needed to die. Now the Queens are gonna take big hits every time they come up to oppose those Marines. Scarlett's looking to organize another backdoor attack. She needs to get that tank out of position. The Banshees are back, and they are once again finding drones. The Queens try to intercept, and that lets the Marines right at the hatch. Scarlett's Willings go for that well-positioned tank. Can she get it? She does. Second time's a charm, and that's going to take a lot of the force out of Byun's attack here. The hatch is going to need a transfuse or 2 or 5, but otherwise it looks like it's going to survive. Byun disagrees. He stims and tries to go at it. No, he sees the overwhelming Queen count and he pulls back. Oh, but he's bringing up another tank. He's going to reclaim that nasty position, and he's going to surround it with the Marine force. Baneling's hit. Is there enough? The tank is exposed. The Queens advance. They get the tank, but there is a second one, and Byun saves it. Once again, Hellfire rains on those Queens. In the background, Scarlett's getting aspired. Byun is making Liberators. I am disappointed because I am all out of circle descriptors. Both players are pulling in really healthy amounts of money right now, just about 3,000 a minute. Byun's got his third base going now, and Scarlett's got that 80 drone count. Yeah, Byun's mealing up his third. Scarlett's put up a fifth base in the top center to account for the fact that she's largely been denied mining at her fourth. But it does look like the first of the Liberators is going to arrive before Scarlett can get herself some mutas. We'll see how that adds to Byun's siege. Scarlett sneaking her lings around the back once again. Oh, she's not backstabbing Byun's attackers, she's countering. And those lings are gonna find an undefended fourth base. Lots of SCVs to snack on. Oh, she pins them inside. It's an abattoir, a slaughterhouse. Every SCV at the third base is gonna die. Everyone. I think, oh, no, one survivor. Meanwhile, Byun is making progress on that third. He's killing drones. Not enough to match Scarlett's 16, though. Here come the Banes. Byun is well split here, but Scarlett has the numbers. The third base is saved, and Scarlett starts up a flock of mutas, 13 strong. Let's call that the Insta-flock. Correction, she's added to the Insta-flock. There's now going to be 18 of them. I am worried for Byun. What does he have at his base for defense? With that kind of number, he's got to have Thors or a thicket of turrets. Oh, Byun finds that top center base and he just clears it right out. Scarlett has to have a complete evac and her queens have to do the rescue. Even still though, Scarlett's got a much more powerful economy now. It's gonna take Byun a while to recover from that third and he's got to deal with the insta-flock first. Apparently Byun's prepared to multitask. He's shutting down Scarlett's attempt to expand. The insta-flock is in the field. And Byun's gonna prove me wrong and deal with it with just Marines. Scarlett does not want that fight. She wants her mutas over top his mineral line. But Byun is flipping the script here. He is forcing Scarlett to defend. And somehow he's killing drones while he's doing it. Oh, the drone pull goes the wrong way or Scarlett decided to try to attack with her drones. Byun's worker kill count jumps up to 13 and he's starting to look pretty good. I thought Scarlett was gonna take this game when I saw that insta-flock building. Byun getting +2/+2, Scarlett getting +1 air attack. Byun's Marines are just everywhere. He's gonna shut down that hatch. I love how he just doesn't stand there, he kills it. He actually stutter steps to the far side so he's ready to retreat. Yoda says, ahead he is thinking. Scarlett's now trying to rebuild her drone count, and Byun's used the opportunity to start building missile turrets in his base. I feel like Scarlett had this great window and Byun just stole it from her. These mutas are gonna chase down those Marines. No, they're not. They're gonna wait for the Banelings. And Scarlett's gonna be successful, but in the meantime, Byun's gonna get himself out of Thor. That's exactly what he wanted. If he can repeat that a few times, he can shut these mutas right down. I do like how Scarlett forced Byun to stim and then pulled back and let it kind of exhaust. That was pretty wily. Byun is now making Marines 9 at a time. That's pretty frightening. Oh, and he's adding a factory. I wonder if that's for extra Thor production. Though I'm never sad to see more tanks and widow mines. Tanks being a little less valuable against mutas. Oh, Scarlett spotted that lone medevac. It's fully loaded. It's a nice prize if those mutas can chase it down. I always feel like until Zerg gets Hydras or mutas, Terran has such a free ride with their medevacs. I'm always happier to see unfriendly skies. Oh, Byun's third is pretty locked down this time. Scarlett manages to destroy a couple of supply depots anyway, but it does not supply block the Terran. As per Chapter 1 of the Great Big Book of Zerg Strategy, there are no problems that can't be solved by the addition of more Banelings. Scarlett remaking her fourth and picking up Overlord's speed. Byun researching drilling claws. He is indeed going for widow mines. He's gonna make the skies unsafe for the insta-flock. That's why Scarlett's getting that Overlord speed. She needs her overseers to be able to keep up and spot those mines for her. Byun finishes +2 attack and immediately starts +3 attack. Despite all this interesting mech, he remains focused on those killer Marines. Oh, he stims his entire army. Scarlett has to pull back there. She almost lost her insta-flock. And she still takes some flack from that Thor. Scarlett's back up to 80 workers again and her income is really recovered. But can she get some offense going before Byun comes at her yet again? The mutas clear out that missile turret. Despite the worker hug, they just didn't love it enough. Oh, and Scarlett is forced to sack her top center base. The tanks get position over it behind the rocks, and that is so hard to dislodge. It's a horror pinata and a series full of horror pinatas. Oh, I like this, a bit of a ninja expand at the bottom right. Byun can't possibly see that. Oh, a Thor pickup! I love to see Thors hanging for medevacs. Whoever thought of the animation for that, I just want to shake that guy's hand. I know, let's make the Thor fold up and hang it on the outside of the ship. Who cares if the Thor looks like it weighs 5 times as much as the medevac? It'll still look cool. And it did. Scarlett with a dozen worker kills. Byun's gonna need a 4th pretty soon. He's showing signs of mining out. He should have the army to secure one. Look at that, Scarlett is killing him on money. And she's ahead on army too, it just doesn't quite feel that way. Oh, Byun's looking to secure that 4th, Scarlett's looking to stop him. This could be the battleground of the game here. I think Byun has to have this. Scarlett's pulling back, I don't think she's giving up. I think she's just gathering her banelings here. Oh, she's actually doing a simultaneous attack on the 3rd, that is brilliant. Zerglings flooding in, Marines stim, and the tank is gonna beat them back. Okay, this game is officially intense. Byun really needs that 4th. Scarlett's camping out there. She sees the CC trying to land. It's 6 bases to 3 right now. If it's a game of who wants it more, that's gotta be Byun. He's bringing everything over to secure it. Scarlett won't yield. It's a big time clash. Thor explodes. But the Baneling army is expended. Byun is seconds away from getting 3-3 and having that upgrade lead. Scarlett's ground units remain at 2-2 and her flyers are just at 2 attack. The TLDR there is that Byun is ahead on upgrades. I bet Byun's dropped 40 mules at that 4th base. He has officially caught up on army, and he's looking to get back on the offensive. Scarlett's mutas are not done with their attack though. She's looking for an attack path of her own. Byun definitely doesn't know about the base on the bottom right. He's gone right past it. We've got simultaneous attacks, people. Scarlett's still looking to hit that 4th. It's the heart of Byun. But Byun's taking Scarlett's 4th. The Marines are all taking turns on this horror pinata. Who wants broodling candy? Oh, Scarlett's wrecking havoc in the natural now. This is looking like it's gonna be a worker massacre on both sides. If Scarlett can get on top of the production, that could be decisive, but Byun does have a pretty sizable force at home. He's gonna chase her out. And the tide has turned again. It's Byun who's expanding, Scarlett who's contracting. But income very much remains with the Zerg. Oh, Scarlett gets that pivotal tank. That's helpful to her cause. In the past games in the series, Byun's been making fortresses at his forward expansion. He hasn't been able to do that yet this game. Every CC he has, he's had to use as an orbital. Oh yeah, look at the mule hammer at that 4th. That's like a starving man finding food. Scarlett's banelings are just looking for a chance to roll in there. Can the mutas distract enough of Byun's army? At the same time, Scarlett's actually double expanding across the top of the map. She hasn't rebuilt at the 4th where Byun killed her hatch. It makes sense. Her army's very mobile and there's more minerals at these new locations. Why get a half a base when you can get a couple of whole ones? Normally the answer is because I gotta defend them. But this is a very mobile Zerg army and Scarlett has maxed it out. Oh, a renewed attack on Byun's 3rd. She's gonna hit before the depot barriers are done. Banelings reach the mineral line. 10 workers killed in the blink of an eye. Byun's defense force from the 4th base comes to fortify and Zerg pulls out. Fortunately, a timely liftoff saved the command center. This bottom right ninja expand has been a godsend for the Zerg. Byun still does not know about it. In fairness, he's been kind of busy. Oh, Byun gunned down so many banelings there. He had the firepower to kill them before they could connect. Scarlett responds by getting 30 more Zerglings. It's time to bane up. Oh, Muta's looking to sneak past Byun's army as it's extended outwards. They're gonna get a strafe on that 3rd. No! Marines with the interception. He encircles them like a wolf pack. And the Instaflock loses several key members. And Byun has found the ninja expand. That's totally on me. You can blame me for that one, Zerg fans. Scarlet's mutas are in the main again. Oh, but there's a Widow Mine there. A brilliant precaution by Byun. Oh, Scarlett did save her expansion, but it is a secret no longer. And now Byun's checking all the corners. Hug that turret for your lives, SCVs. The turret dies anyway, but the SCVs are spared. Oh, Byun's just going on a hatchery elimination tour here. He drops 2 faster than I can play a game of Tiddlywinks. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, the average length of a game of Tiddlywinks is particularly short. He's actually going for a 3rd. Suddenly it's Scarlett who's starting to get low on functioning bases. Once again, Scarlett has to sack the top center base. Byun gets the Horror Pinata, and is that the end of the tour? Neither player is able to mine well at this point. Both are gasping for air. We've hit the 20-minute mark and Byun has never seen a maxed army. But still, he is the base killer here. Byun gets vengeance on the ninja expand. I do believe those mutas are going to make sure it's a one-way trip though. Scarlett loses 16 workers, but it's Byun who's down to 22 at this point. Everybody's bleeding. There is blood in the water and it is a shark fest. Scarlett's economy is officially down to long-distance mining. Byun has 2 functioning bases, but they're both under threat. Scarlett has baned up and she's looking to attack. Every SCV kill is vital because Byun does not have many to spare. Lift off at the 4th. Byun down to 14 SCVs. Scarlett has stopped macroing. She doesn't have the money. There we go. She switches to those very cost-effective lings. She doesn't have the crackling upgrade for them though. She only recently got her hive tech. Seriously, it's been that hectic a game. Scarlett's hunting for SCVs, but she's not really finding any because Byun just doesn't have many left. And she eats a Widow Mine for her efforts. That was the same one that got her Mutaflock earlier, by the way. Oh, more Baneley hits on the SCVs. Byun's down to 3 SCVs now. And he's completely out of minerals. Remarkably, he has the bigger army. Bizarrely, Scarlett has 56 workers, but her economy is pretty much just as bad. Neither player's making units right now. Are we seeing their armies in final form? Every unit is precious at this point. Byun's looking tougher. Scarlett's got to duck and weave and find opportunities for more kills. Oh, Scarlett scrapes together some money. She gets herself a hatch, and she's making 7 banelings. Byun's down to 1 worker. He takes it off of gas and puts it on minerals. Scarlett sees it. The final worker, she kills it. And kills a sensor tower while she's at it. Byun has 175 minerals though. He can remake a worker. And he does. Scarlett's new hatch halfway done. That's what 50 drones long distance mining looks like. Scarlett's on top of the production. There's nothing building there this time. But she's looking for SCVs. Byun's building 3 of them. He does not want them to find any money again. Scarlett's going for a further hatch. She is showing signs of health. She's got 0 workers on gas right now, but she does have a bank. Oh, is Byun pinned the Mutaflock? He's got it on both sides. Scarlett can't get it out of there without taking losses. It is, though, taking all of Byun's forces to do this. If she keeps Byun busy like this, her hatches are going to get up. Things go for the 3rd. There is a Widow Mine there. Byun does not care at all about losing supply depots. He is so far away from being supply blocked right now, it's not even funny. On his long list of problems, supply is not one of them. Somehow, someway, Byun has got his SCV count back up to 9, and he's starting to build Marines again. He's lost his 3rd, which means he's really down to 1 functioning base, his 4th. He gets a party of 8 Marines together in a medevac, and he goes back on tour. His instincts are perfect. We've got full vision, and we know this is exactly what he needs to be doing. Scarlett's mutas are pinned. They cannot do anything to stop this. Her Zerglings and Banelings are available, but does she have enough of them? Oh, a single Viking. Byun is going to use a Viking to dislodge those mutas. That's clever. I can't believe he can afford it. He must have put that on his MasterCard and his Visa. How do you buy a transformable fighter jet when you have no money? Oh, Byun is feasting on Scarlett's drones here. She's not pulling them. Scarlett wants money more than she wants drones. Those poor mutas are having an aneurysm trying to figure out their way out of their predicament. They're going to take a run for it. Byun's going to stutter step at them the whole way. It looks like about only 10 got out. Scarlett's army is now half that of Byun's. Oh, the Vikings now going to kill the original scouting overlord. I know it's irrelevant, but the poor guy's been there since minute 1 of the game. Scarlett's mutas are back on the map, and this game has officially hit crazy sauce. Scarlett has the income advantage, Byun has the army. One of those stats is going to cause the other stat to flip. This kind of differential is just not sustainable. Byun says it's his army that's going to make the difference. He's going after Scarlett's economy. Ling Bane Muta looking to intercept. Scarlett's going to start the crackling upgrade. It's the first upgrade she's been able to afford in a long, long time. It's a great choice. It'll really help her stretch her minerals here. Byun sees the new hatches. He sees a path to victory. He goes at the workers. Scarlett defends. Who's got this? Byun will get that hatch. There are no queens left to transfuse that. The hatch is on death's door, but somehow it is holding. I am wrong. There is a queen. Scarlett does transfuse it and keeps it alive. Byun picks up and gets out of there. But not before the widow mines he leaves behind get their licks in. Both players' armies are in shambles. Scarlett's now down to 19 workers. At this point, I think both players are going to attack each other with spoons and bread knives. This is a fantastic game to decide a series. Byun's coming to attack again. Adrenal Glands is going to finish. Byun has the income advantage. It's terrible versus worse. Byun kills the queen. He kills 2. Scarlett's army's getting decimated. But as long as she's got that mutaflock, she's still in this. Byun knows that hatch is bleeding bad. He'd love to finish it off. The transfuse goes on that lone spore that's holding back the medevacs, but it dies anyway. That paves the way for Byun to push on that hatch. Scarlett saved it once. Can she do it again? The Zerg forces gather and charge. Byun with the splits. He stutter steps back, killing the Banelings. And Scarlett throws in the towel. It's GG. Byun wins. Byun takes the series. Remember, Byun was down to 0 workers. 0. Just in case nobody believes me, there it is. 0 workers. But money in the bank. Crazy game, because even when Byun was at 0 workers, it didn't feel like he was done. Scarlett was in peril the entire time. Great, great game. Anyways, as I complete this cast, I've been holding off on a major piece of news in the Starcraft world. It might be old news by the time this uploads, but just in case you haven't heard, I feel a sense of social responsibility to pass it along. Here it is. Activision Blizzard, the company that made and owns the Starcraft franchise, is going to be sold. The buyer? Microsoft. That's right. Bill Gates is buying Starcraft. Well, his company's certainly buying much more than that, and Starcraft might be an afterthought here, but that's the headline for me. The price was $68 billion. You've probably heard Activision Blizzard stock was rather beaten down the last several months, following workplace harassment scandals and investigations. $68 billion, though, apparently is Microsoft's largest purchase ever. Just to put that $68 billion number into context, 7 years ago, Microsoft bought the company Mojang. Mojang is the company that created the insanely popular game Minecraft. That was Notch's company. Microsoft bought Mojang for $2.5 billion. That turned out to be an insanely successful deal for Microsoft. So perhaps they wanted to get themselves another craft. After Microsoft bought Minecraft, they sold 100 million more copies of it. That was worth $1.5 billion alone, plus whatever Microsoft squeezed out on toys, licensing, cartoons, etc., 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 meaning they got their money back and still own the game, which remains a huge cash cow for them. As you may know, Microsoft already owns the Age of Empires franchise, so there's a weird fusion of competitors there. Empire Craft, anyone? Age of Space? As you can imagine, This has fans everywhere wondering, what does this mean for the much pontificated Starcraft 3? An unofficial project fans want badly, but Blizzard, as far as we know, has been very hesitant to touch for a multitude of reasons that probably require their own video. So the big question now is, does Microsoft care about the Starcraft IP? And will they use it? And if they do, how? They paid a lot. You'd think they have plans for it. But for now, the media will focus on the fact that Microsoft just bought Call of Duty, and maybe they'll publish colorful photos of Crash Bandicoot. We should also ask, does Blizzard even have the talent in its office right now to make an RTS like StarCraft 3? Or have the key people all fled to other companies such as Frost Giant? We do know Microsoft pays its people on a level competitive with Google, and so it seems to me if it wanted to, Microsoft would have no trouble attracting talent. One thing we do know, Activision Blizzard has retained its CEO, Mr. Bobby Kotick. What does that tell us? One, Kotick is well familiar with how rich and popular the StarCraft IP is, so that's a huge plus. Two, Kotick unfortunately also knows how hard it is to monetize an RTS game built for a PC in today's market. An environment where free iPhone games built overnight and choked with ads reign supreme. That is to say, he follows the money, and that means he probably prefers hunting for the next Candy Crush. Remember, Blizzard made far more money off of, say, Skylanders than it ever did off of StarCraft, and likely by a factor of 10. But money aside, the engineering of StarCraft pushed video games forward and was integral in the construction of Blizzard's name and the culture of its games. StarCraft Brood War gave birth to esports. It's also possible Mr. Kotick will quietly be replaced 6 months from now in a transition plan, and the fact that he's currently in charge means nothing for the tea leaves. Bottom line here, this purchase is huge. StarCraft fans will be watching with great interest for any sign as to what this might mean for their favorite game. My biggest question is, what happens with the ESL contract? ESL is the organization that currently runs the major StarCraft Pro tournaments. They do so at the permission and blessing of Blizzard. When the ESL contract runs out, the ESL is going to have to return to Activision Blizzard for a renewal, assuming the ESL actually wants to. What is Microsoft going to have to say about that? Are they going to want in on it and to grow the esports scene themselves? Or will they be happy to continue that partnership? Forget StarCraft 3. What is the fate of StarCraft 2? For now, the mood is cautiously positive. I'll leave you with TLO's tweet on this, for which many says it all. We'll see how well this video commentary ages. Please do let me know what you think about all of this while I'm here chewing my fingernails. Thank you to all our recent subscribers. Please keep an eye on this channel and look out for that versus symbol. If all goes to plan, we should have an awesome series coming down the pipe, scheduled for Sunday, 10 a.m. So from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your StarCraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your StarCraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang StarCraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.